Good morning, everybody. It is the first week in February, and you saw a few days ago my midnight video when I finished the Boro Scarf, my first big project in my new technique adventure of reusing, repurposing, and finding a way to integrate the beautiful scraps from my beautiful work into new beginnings is one way I like to think of it. So in this video, you're going to get to see a little bit of that process. I just finished doing some stitching that's actually on another piece, but we're gonna put it in here so you can see one of the stitch techniques I look at and watch me stitch for a little while. And this video will be a montage of different stages that project was in and how I was thinking about it throughout the process. I want to thank Eric, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Eric Fischnaller, for putting these clips together for me, and I'm learning how to do it, so he's doing this so that I can learn how to do it, and he is awesome. You should subscribe to his channel and subscribe to what he's doing because he's a great artist and a great teacher, and so follow him. And so thank you for that, and so I hope you enjoy watching this. And if you do, please hit the like button and subscribe, and you can find me at followcarollebaron.com. So I hope you have a great day. Good morning. So I've been working on my Boro Scarf, and you've seen the process of it over these weeks. This is the first one, so it's taken me a long time to make, and the next one won't take quite so long. I've been figuring a lot of things out in between times, not just on this, but on a lot of other things. So, and I should say good morning. And if you're interested in this process, please like and subscribe my videos because there's going to be quite a bit more to come. So today, the topic for this video is front and back and design process. I have been working on a decision about this particular scarf, which is a huge decision. Should I or should I not line the back with silk? And I love the back. And if you look at what I'm stitching here, this is the back. I think it's beautiful, the color-wise. I actually, and I'm going to interrupt myself to say, you're going to say, well, that's a scarf. A scarf doesn't have a front and a back, and that's the whole point. It doesn't. So why am I thinking of front and back? Well, it's because when I design something, right now in my process, I'm a two-dimensional artist. I venture out into 3D here and there, but I started out as a painter, and my first art show was all paintings and photographs. I'm a painter and a photographer, and I got into textiles because of the color. The color in this wool, and if you are a maker and you are interested in delving into this process, you will find that the color that you can get with the process I use is unlike any other color you get with any other process. Now, that's not to say that the process from another type of method isn't as good or bad. It's what I like. I like the fact that this color is deep inside this fabric. That excites me. I love it. Every little nuance that you see here. And so my two-dimensional wall artwork, my commission pieces, of course, have fronts and backs. Although I did have one art show where the curator loved the back so much that she hung them so you could see both sides, which gave me an idea for a whole series of wall dividers. But anyway, I digress. Here's what I consider the front. You can see I've added some embellishments here, just little bits, so that as the wearer wears this, it'll move around and you'll see different colors. But when she wears it, and I know it's a she because I know who it is, you're going to see the back too. So it's not a front and a back. That is a metaphor for life. What we see on the surface, it's the front, and the back is everything else that's inside that goes into everything else we do. But when we use our creative process, we get to show the back and the front and the inside and the outside, and it's all one. And today, I'm going to thread a needle and start a stitching. So choosing the color of the thread goes into threading the needle. Sometimes I want the thread to match. Sometimes I don't. Right now I'm in the mood for this orange, or pink, whatever you call it, so that's what I'm going to use. It doesn't want to be too long or too short. If it's too long, it'll tangle. If it's too short, you have to thread it again. Really, really sharp scissors are so important. These are ginger, I don't know how you pronounce it, but they're super sharp. And the only thing I use them for is cutting thread. That's why they stay sharp. Because it's really, really hard to thread a needle if your scissors aren't sharp. Now, I know many of you who stitch are going to say, well, use a needle threader, or like, but I just like threading the needle. I don't see that well, so it's a challenge. I think you're in my field of vision, and literally, it's a metaphor for life. And these scissors are so sharp that that thread just went right through there like that. How amazing is that? I love it. Then, the next thing I do is take the other end, get my finger wet, and then go 1, 2, 3, roll it off my finger and pull that down. Look, there's a knot. Hopefully you can see it. I'll put it, so I can kind of see it against that. Now, that's a big, ugly, horrible knot, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to hide it inside this stitching. So look at all these pins that are on here. That's because I want this all to stay in place. This whole thing is all made out of little scraps, and in other videos and other places I teach this whole method, but I'm just showing you this. The sensibility is nothing goes to waste. Nothing gets lost, and I love that theme as I'm starting out this year. Every moment in my life could be like threading this needle. Each stitch. So I just go underneath here and pull it up, and then go back down, pull this out, and then come up underneath, and voila! This is ready to be stitched together. Now this I'm going to take to the comfort of my cozy chair at home because I didn't turn the heat on in the studio today. It takes a while for it to warm up down here, and sometime I'll show you my whole studio room. So, good morning, everybody. I'm down here in the shop, and I'm getting ready to show just a little tiny slice of detail work. I've taken you all on this journey about learning to make videos with me. Oh, and this is Carol LeBaron, Textile Design, and you are looking at a little tiny section of something that I cannot show you all of until this piece is hanging where the client lives. But you can see these little bits and pieces. So this right here it's called reverse applique, is what this technique is. And what you do is you cut away. So there is, see this, you can see the back of this. The back of this is just this color. And so over it, I've laid both this green, and you can see right here, the green's cut out right there. And then over here, also this blue and purple. So it's going around, the pink is cut out here. Now that I'm even looking at it as I'm explaining to you, I'm realizing that I want to cut that out a little more. And this happens as I'm working. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do when I come down here. So if you stick with me over the next months, you'll learn that. And if you start doing your own work, you'll learn it that way too. It doesn't just apply to textiles, any kind of art. Sometimes we revise as we paint. That's one reason why I really love oil painting or acrylic painting, because if you want to change something, and I don't believe that there's any such thing as a mistake, but you can just go over it. When I first started this process, I became very attached to having exactly the right thing next to the other one. But over the years, I've realized that I can just pile it up, cut it out, pile it up, and cut it out, which that's where that whole Boro concept comes from. So anyway, I'm just gonna let you watch me stitch for a minute. I wrote an article the other day about the feeling of this fabric under your hands. This is something I can't really explain. I can let you watch me, but I don't know how I know when to pick a pin up and move it. I just know that I need to hold this together enough to get over to that pin. The meditation part comes when all is quiet, as it is right now. It's frosty outside. And I can just center myself in these stitches. This piece is really big. This piece is, I'm hoping I'm still under the camera lens. This piece is over 11 feet tall. So this is an interesting experiment for me to show you how I sew it. I don't usually end up in the middle at the end of a piece, but in this piece I did. For some reason, I ended up doing the top and then the bottom. I never know how it's going to go. This particular piece is all about a quarry. The people that are going to be living with this piece own a quarry. And it's beautiful. I'd like to think that eventually when you watch these, you get value out of not only seeing me learn how to stitch, but there's probably going to be some value in watching me learn how to show you how to stitch on camera in such a way that it's interesting, clear, and makes sense, which is my goal. I didn't mean say goal. Because there's a joy in this, and mending. So, I mean, this isn't mending because it's creating, but in a way, it's like mending. It's one of the oldest practices known to man. Back when people sewed their clothes out of furs. Just imagine if you were sewing a whole big giant blanket of squirrel furs or little mink skins, you would not let one single tiny solitary scrap of that go to waste. And that's how I feel about all this fabric that I dye, because I really haven't explained this part much. There's so much to this, but all of the fabric you see here is fabric that I've dyed many times over. So every single scrap is very, very precious. All right, so I'm at the end of this stitch. So now you can watch me end it off, hopefully. So 1, 2, 3. Go in between this green and this blue. There. And then cut it off. And here's another little tip and trick. I guess the jargon is hack, right? But I don't know why they say hack. But this is magnetic, so you don't lose your pins. How cool is that? Because I lose everything. Hello, Carol LeBaron here. Just catching you real quick from my studio. I've finally finished the Boro Scarf. It's taken me a while, but I'm very happy, and I know the next one's not going to take me quite as long. But my next project is a commission for someone, and I'll be talking more about that tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to show you a little bit about how I sort of take apart this shop and get ready for the next thing. But today I'm super excited because I've finished this, and I can't show you the whole thing because it is for someone and they're going to be the first one to see it. But I can show you the edge. The last stage is this edge. You can see that, hopefully you can see in this shot, that there's a place where these pins are, and wherever these little pins are, that's where I'm going to just stitch these little edges so it doesn't come apart. So this is an experiment. I've talked to you before about I'm learning how to make these videos, so hopefully you can see that in this. And the light, you'll notice, is a little different because I just thought real quick I wanted to shout out and tell you guys about this and share this with you. So I will talk to you all soon. And if you'd like to know more about what I'm doing, you can follow me at followcarollebaron.com. And I will talk soon.